But as you're getting closer, Aiden,
Yes.
I would like you to make me a small piloting check.
I can do those. I did those.
So, as you're flying through the sky, you just catch a glimpse on your radar. Like, it was barely, reaction time was about a second long as it bleeps, and you just see this small swarm of ships start coming past you, but you expertly twist the ship, avoiding these ships that just go past you at insane speeds. Looking at it, it looks like you just passed through a small race area, and you just see the ships go.
Huh. I think we're in a restricted zone. Anyway, I'm gonna look down towards the AI now and say, you see that? Don't look. Feel. Hmm? And he tries to sound like he's very profound and clever about it. You must not look, you must feel.
As you start coming in, you see a small crag-like area, and there are bright red, like, canopies all covering the crag as if blocking it from the sun. There seems like a small landing area. So, we're gonna land. Let me get this.
Yeah.
As your ship lands into the shadow where essentially you would be, well, safe from any sandstorms that would attack your ship, you see the canopies are going left and right across the valley, blocking out as much of the radiant and harmful sun as it possibly can. Around the area you see towering blocks that keep it away from any skittering vermin across the ground. And you see inside of a mountainous crag area, you see holes built in as if the warrens go deeper than you can see.
I look at Raison's like, Raison, I need you to stay here.
What? Why me no come to with?
Well, you can't shoot. I can't give you a gun.
I have gun. He like points towards a small like rifle on his arm.
Okay, about that.
I also have this. He brings out the knife as well.
It's like, my father used to give me a lot of trouble for wielding weapons, and if I was any ounce of responsible, I would also tell you not to wield weapons.
Kuzon, I think around here, wielding a weapon's the responsible thing, yeah?
Prava,
Yeah.
right. Grandpa can go suck egg.
Okay. I'm going to I'm gonna configure Fred and say, it's like, but you're sticking with Fred here.
I'm fine with that. He says as he actually like climbs on top of it. Like,
And I'll climb on top of it as well.
I'm amazed that this mule can hold one medium creature and one small. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I can basically very easily hold two small creatures.
Mhm.
But yeah. I'm gonna take, so like basically I keep my crossbolter on my person, but I have my azimuth laser rifle on him, and for now that's all I have stored on, but I have an extra, it's like, so I can carry both my guns, which I don't usually. I'll have my shotgun and my crossbolter both loaded onto Fred.
Understood.
Oh, I can't edit the
Oh, one moment.
thing. Yeah, sorry. I'll put a picture into it of what I think it would look like.
There we go.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, there we go. Fred from you.
Yes. It makes me cool though, because it makes me feel like a cowboy. It fits the Western aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll like draw my hood up, and yeah, we'll head out.
Right. So as you head on out, you see Ishkeli going about. They don't seem all that well, but there is some commotion about you arriving. You see some of them looking down from their canopies and walkways, like over the edge, looking down as the mule starts heading out. Are the other two with you as well, Aiden, brother?
Yep.
All right then. So as you're heading across, you see people are looking about and looking down towards you. And as you are coming towards you see this single-ish kitty that's actually moving towards you. He looks pretty old, probably in his 80s by this point. And you can see like him using a walking staff, like moving towards you. Goes, "Strangers, you are welcome."
I'll speak in, so they go, hello. Yeah, it's good to see you guys. I'm just gonna kind of like, we're looking for someone.
Ah, you have come seeking someone. As expected, our communications have been down for a while.
What's going on with your communications?
Destroyed.
Well, we can't have that. I kind of like look at him and it's like, so I'm looking for some youngish Ketty, and they kind of look like us. I'll just like smile and like move my hand between me and Razon.
Yes, we have seen some of your kind. You can see that the old one speaking to you, his scales have long since grayed. You can't even tell the original color that it used to be. But as he gestures around, it's like, I am sure you could find them around here. If they are as long as you say, then they would not have joined, well, the rest of the warriors.
If you like, I can take a look at your communications. Or hate to hear that something happened to you guys because you couldn't send a message out.
That would be good. However, if you are to work here, you will have to know something.
Well?
Yes. You see, well, how traditional are you?
Kuzon just does a very awkward smile and say, I'm really bad at lying, so I'll just say, not very.
And I suspect I can trust your other two friends as well. He's like Aiden and Prava.
Yeah, stuff you tell me never goes anywhere.
Understood. Then you may find this a little shocking. And he taps his staff like once, very hard on the ground, and as he does, you just see suddenly from one of the canopy and platforms something leap up. In fact, two of them from different sides leap up and land beside him. And as they do, 7-foot creatures stand up slowly, almost giving you instinctively fear.
I know what these are, don't I?
Sort of. These look strange, as if your instincts are kicking in, but at the same time, something's off, as this is what they look like. The creature is covered in scales, of course, but while its color is a bright red and claws and jaw almost look identical to that of a Rivena, well, it's medium-sized. It's about 7 foot tall, and from its arms and head are these almost fleshy-like leaves. They look almost like feathers, but on close inspection, they simply look like it. Think of them like a sail.
Kuzon just like startled. He kind of like wheels back a bit, and it's like his metal arm reaches out and grabs and stops his regular arm from reaching out for his cross bolter, and he's just like, "Are you mad?"
That is the reaction I expected. You see, these two large, brute-like creatures are looking at all of you. One of them staring down to you, Aiden, almost trying to intimidate you.
I just look back at him calmly and don't react to him.
It's like, what? No offense to current company, of course. Kuzon kind of like does like an awkward smile, like looking at one of them and looks at him. It's like you're bossing around. Is it? Sorry, I forgot the term. Was it Revenar?
Yeah, Revenair. I can show you an actual picture of what a normal Revenair looks like, if you want.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're something.
That is what a normal one looks like. A twisted beast, very large. Larger than the ones you see here as well.
Is Kuzon's like, you're. So that's what you guys are doing here.
This place needs more protection than normal. By the way, as I've been saying this, I assume you all have your armor on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys have been detecting that there's radiation around here. There has been for a while. A unique kind of radiation, but radiation nevertheless. Right now it's soft, but it's there.
By the way, tell your friend to get out of my face or I'll make him.
Do you want to try rolling an intimidate?
Well, that's not really something I'm good at, but sure, why not? Let's see how this goes. Oh, look at that.
The dragon! As you're standing there, almost as if it's reacting instinctively, it backs down from being up in your face, Aiden. He's like steps back, you hear...
I just narrow my eyes a little bit and keep my neutral expression and I just say, yeah, that's what I thought. And I'm gonna fix my glasses a little bit.
Kuzon's like kind of looking at the one closer to him, very like he's scrutinizing the hell out of this guy.
I understand why you would be so wary. This is like why you make sure to warn people first. You do, as you're scrutinizing him, you do see that he's wearing Kefak armor. By the way, in case you forgot, that's for common vermin of Akitan. Essentially, their armor is very good, actually.
Yeah. Kuzon just kind of like just says like hello in the Shketi, like it's like hello.
You hear him as normal for Rivena. He speaks in very common like words, short in normal, but he basically says greetings.
Kuzon kind of like leans back and looks at the elder and is like, all right, I'm listening.
That is good. You see, there are some of us that come to Gantim almost right before the transformation occurs. After all, there was always hope that they would be able to, well, stop it. These are the results.
It's like, that's good. You know, if you ever figure out how to perfect this, it could really change Akiton.
Well, I have personally Never been but either, and I am almost 80 years old.
Huh.
Who knows, perhaps you will join the village as well. I'm sure we are welcoming.
Kuzon's just kind of like smiling awkwardly and scratching his head, and it's like, well, yeah, about those kids, mind if I have a look around?
Of course, please feel free to. Be careful, however. There may be still vermin about. By the way, Razon, while they are talking and Aiden's like making sure to intimidate one of them, Razon's actually looking towards you, Prava, and you see that he's not smiling really as much as he was before. It's almost a look of like, I don't trust this place at all. Like he's trying to get across to you.
Prava makes telekinetic contact with him and he's like, is there something on your mind? Is there more at play here than we can see?
It's exactly what you can see. This isn't normal.
It's
Even
not-
normal Iskedi are more guarded of their warrants.
I mean, look at the size of these guys. They don't have to be guarded about anything.
Yes, the Vedas are tough, but even that's strange. Still. I don't trust it. Maybe I'm paranoid.
I mean, if you've got a feeling, go with it, but I'm gonna take these guys at their word. It seems like they're doing something really fascinating here.
I will stay on guard. I feel strange here.
Alright, well, if that feeling materializes into something more, you tell me right away.
Understood. By the way, as you were talking to him telepathically, you felt almost something like static.
What would that mean for a telepath? Does it feel like something's like blocking my connection?
Feel-
Or like
No, feel like when you're talking to someone, instead of like a, it's more of a, like a wind. Like almost as if there's wind playing in your mind. Like as a signal.
have I
Yes,
ever encountered that like before in my life, or is this like a completely unique?
Probably. Like for instance, when somebody's trying to interfere with a signal, or maybe somebody's trying to block the signal but unsuccessful, there's normally like this weird echoey wind effect.
Don't cross the signals.
As we move around, like, are there lots of Ishkedi like moving around and doing their thing?
Yes, there are plenty of Ishkedi here. You do see some signs here and there that some of them aren't coming towards you, like they're slightly distrusting. But others are just going about their day, ignoring you.
That's fair.
Aiden, would you roll me perception?
Sure thing. And now imagine, I don't know why, but lately I've been getting a lot of crits, and now I got 2 crits in a row, and this is worrying me a little bit. Now if this is a crit,
Crits or near
it's-
crits?
if this is another crit, I'm just quitting the game because I'm worried for my life or something. I don't know at this point.
Still pretty good though. So, as you are looking around, you see something. Some of Skedi are repairing the walls and walkways. There were signs of battle here that are repaired.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there signs of battle? Can I see if there's bullet holes, explosions? What kind of damage are we talking?
Looks like laser burns. As the
Ah.
places that were burned have been covered up with some sort of wood paste.
Kuzon, is this normal?
Plasma weapons. I'm gonna walk up to, like, I'm gonna hop off the mule and walk up to one of them and say in Ishkedi, like, what happened here?
Oh, well, you see, raids, just raids.
It's like there are raiding camps out here, this far north.
Yeah, it's just raids.
Ash, can I roll profession?
Sorry, what? Prava?
Can I roll profession, because you know, there's a lot of mercenary work on this planet, and I think I'd know where mostly shit like this would happen, and something tells me in such a remote region there's probably not a lot of raiding going on.
Well,
Yeah,
like
you can roll that.
plasma weapons. Like I think Kuzon.
Well,
I
laser
wanna
and
roll-
plasma, but yeah.
Yeah,
23.
like, yeah.
And what did you want to roll?
I wanted to roll just like culture to see if I can, because I don't think plasma weapons are super common among scrappers.
Yeah, go ahead. And what about you, Prava? You
I
were
was
saying?
just gonna roll a generic sense motive because, like, I heard the sketchiness in this guy's voice. Who knows?
Go ahead. You may. Okay.
Well, Prava didn't.
So, professional, you know that there's no point in raiding out here. All the good stuff is in a city, you know, where
Yeah.
the cities are, not this far north. And Prava, given Aiden's like check, he can help you, and you would also notice, as you said, this guy is a little sketchy. Like, it's probably suspect.
It's very sus, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he's very shish.
I'll just kind of like thank him for his information. I'll hop back on the walker. Well, actually, we'll ask him because I know how to repair electronics. Where I was like, I heard something happened to your communications array.
Yes, just on there, the highest platform. You can see, like, there's no dish or anything. It's probably inside.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll head over there.
Okay, have a good day. He like moves away of the mule before going back to his repair work.
So what the hell was that about?
It's like I think somebody's heckling these poor folks.
What would they stand to gain? This place is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I guess my question is, do Ishketi often do different clans often get in wars with each other? Probably, right?
There are some scraps, but Wildish Kelly don't tend to use ranged weapons like that. They have spear throwers, they have rifles and the like. They don't really have the materials to maintain high-tech weaponry.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That it's plasma damage.
Like,
So,
it's
almost. Yeah, it almost makes me think that there's something here that we don't even see. But yeah, no, I want to check out the communication array to see if I can figure out what happened to it.
okay. Roll me engineering as you enter.
Big brain.
Are the biggest of brains. As you walk on in, you start to notice that bits of panel from a dish that has been taken off a thing are gone and cast away. And it just seems random, like parts were taken off of this and placed here. But the thing is, given everything you've seen, that doesn't make much sense why they would do that, since they seem to want their communications a way up.
So it's they took the ripped components out of it.
Yeah, there's components missing from it, like a few panels of a dish and stuff like that, but they're nowhere around here, and they weren't outside either.
I'm gonna is the leader somewhere nearby?
He's he's walking across the gangway, so you can easily talk to him and find him.
I'll call out. It's what? It's who stole the components out of your communication array?
No, they were damaged in the raid. So we had to throw them away.
Kuzon kind of like it's like I don't understand. How are you going to replace the parts?
That's why it's been so difficult.
Kuzon just kind of like it's like I can repair broken parts. I can't produce parts that aren't here. Where'd you throw them out?
Oh, well, they were basically scrap, burned through. We were gonna melt them down and reuse them to have a forge.
I'm sus. Kuzon can't really read his motive, and that's really confusing to him. Okay. Well, I'll just expand my search. I'm trying to find Raison's siblings.
As you explore around, eventually you do find where the younger ones are kept. They're in the warrens. They are a little small for Aiden and Prava, so if you want to enter, you can, but you would have to duck down essentially.
Well, probably basically like bug skitters in.
As you go into the warrens, it's a much more cavernous area, so you can easily get there. You can see like small little beds placed around, and you know it's humid inside compared to the outside, of a dry heat outside. And as you look around, you see, well, 5 very similar young Ishkeri, and you already see Raison rushing over to them.
Kuzon just kind of like hangs back and watches what they do. He just like stands with his kind of like the same like really awkward stance before, with he'll like lean back against the mule and kind of like have his hands like together, just like okay.
You can see that one of the larger one that's a foot taller than normal adult Ishkeri, seems like that one's had a growth spurt. He seems to pick up Raison for a moment, and they all start skittering about and chatting and jumping all over the place. Before Raison eventually points out you 3.
Hello.
And you can see 1 or 2 of them really do not seem to like the look of you. Well, the other's actually heading on over towards you.
It's like, hey guys, it's good to see you. You know your mom's worried sick, right?
We chose to come here. Yeah, we did. There's like one of your daughters essentially is like, to be honest, it's been amazing here. Well, not lately. Shh, we're not meant to talk about that.
Kuzon kind of like leans in and it's like, talk about what?
Well, we're not meant to talk about it because panic may set in.
I saw the scorch marks and the communications array that was dismantled.
The Raison just decides to give a fist to the biggest one's ribcage for a moment, just like, and he goes, ugh. So fine. Say, no, don't. Shush. Anyway, the others, they hold a grudge against you, of course, because of the whole, I don't really care, to be honest. This is a rather idyllic life compared to Booster City. But,
yeah, I kind of look around. It's like, it seems like it's a pretty solid operation. But next time you decide to do a move like this, Kuzon just has, it's like, if you're not going to, like, you don't have to tell me you know, you can decide how involved you want me to be in what you're doing, but you can at least tell Esna when you do a stunt like this.
She has not been back in years. To be honest, she probably would not have found out if it was not for him. Kuzon just nods.
Oh,
Just like, yep.
well.
Sure, it comes back to drop off her gear, but anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Poor parenting aside, the point I'm making is they don't want whoever's here. We don't know exactly what stops or what, but apparently they call it an it. So if we start mentioning things and panicking everyone, apparently it will panic.
And did that have something to do with why somebody dismantled the comms?
They didn't dismantle it. Someone's been after it. Honestly, we've been trapped in here and told to stay inside. But it sounds like there's something, or a group or something, after whatever helps us here. Or whatever helps Vishketi here.
Well, I can't have them. It's like, you can feel about me however you want, but I can't have a group coming around and harassing my kids in the place they live.
Well, that would be good. Yeah, maybe it would even soften them up a little to you. He looks towards them. Seems like they're the quote-unquote youngest ones. They look almost like twins.
I'm just gonna say, it's like, Raison, do you want to stay here with your siblings for a little bit while we go investigate?
Sure, I can do that. And by the way, we should. And as he's about to say it, you hear this. You hear gunfire outside.
Oh.
Aiden, as you head on outside, you see a few flyers flying around the area, blasting the area with their small arm laser guns on their speeders.
Are these
You see
guys
that
fucking crazy?
And you see some of the Ishkedi have rifles attempting to shoot at them, but they're not having much luck as they're firing like up and down as some of the flyers are actually going into the crag and up again, like away. These things are junk. You've seen raiders use them before. There's no way these are even upper atmosphere capable. They're mainly just used for swift attacks on areas.
Do they have any markings?
They seem to have some sort of white markings, almost as yellow in colors, but white going down the side in lines.
Are any of them close to where we are?
There's a few flying past the area. You can see the laser hit some of the Warren walls like.
Well, usually the quickest way to solve any situation is having information. So, Aiden's gonna take out his sniper rifle and he's gonna aim for one of those flying vehicles to take it out.
Oh. Show me how good you are.
You did mention that I can use my trick attack with a sniper, right?
Yes, the mechanical side of it at least.
Oh, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Oof, nice shot. Oh, no one. Nice shot.
Nope, 14. Actually, maybe that's enough to hit. No, it's a speeding vehicle. There's no way that's enough.
As you fire, you miss one of them, though they don't seem to have locked onto your position just yet. A few Ishkedi was startled by just how loud your gun was, though.
Actually, better idea. Can I trigger the blasting fusion on my rifle and just make it a 30 feet for half damage? Maybe that's enough to knock him off his fucking bike. It is technically a blast explosion, so...
True. You could use that as an anti-air thing.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to use this now, or do you want to take another shot? So you probably see that they're currently. It looks like they're sort of raiding, but there's no troops in yet, or at least there's no troops at all.
Well, if
actually,
there's
from
enough
recently.
time, I'm gonna take another shot instead.
All right.
There we go. Oh, I even critted on the
Alright.
damage.
So, did you want to still use the blasting quality? Or did you
Nah,
just want to
I'd
make
say
a
that's
full
enough
attack?
I'd say hitting with 20 is probably... I'm aiming for the fuel container. So I basically want to puncture his... where his fuel is.
As you fire up, your anti-tank round just shears straight through one of its wings and digs into what seems to be the engine block. And you just see the vehicle twist in the air, land against one of the crag walls, and slam into the ground below. This, of course, has alerted the others to your presence, and they are going to make a small. What's your energy resistance? I mean, energy AC.
17.
Miss, hit. Eight damage. So the full blast of the gun's turrets, like boom, 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 and it just goes all cross. And as you just stand there, they miss, but one hits you almost inside as it just scrapes against your armor, heating it from the laser fire. Before the vehicle turns around and boosts off.
I'm gonna use the new computer in my car, and I'd like to beacon for it.
The car is on its way. You see it like driving out of the ship, and it drives down the crag and up to where you are. Just,
I'm gonna
And
use
while
my...
that's happening, oh sorry, I didn't mean to type over you there.
I'm gonna use my communicator and contact Kuzon and Prava and say, I downed one of the bikes. Let's make our way towards the crash site.
I think that my the anti vehicle guns on my police cruiser would be pretty good against these things. The auto disabler.
if you want to go and try taking out some of the fleeing ones, of course
Yeah.
they are fleeing right now. So
I'm gonna chase them off.
are you chasing them off or actually chasing? Because we do have chase mechanics if we want to chase.
Mostly just I just want to send the message for them to get the hell out.
Okay.
And I'll check out the one that's already been crashed rather than chase one of these ones.
I'll slowly start making my way towards the crash site on the one I downed. Make sure he's alive so we can question him.
What about you, Prava? Did you follow Kuzon in the car, or
Yeah, makes no
Alright.
sense.
so you're going to be going there? As you head over to the crash site, you see some of the Ishketi on the platforms cheering, like, yeah! But you also see some of them that don't seem to have been hurt, but they seem to be holding their heads in, like, pain. The Rainers are already at the crash site with their large two-handed weapons.
Is it like a particular demographic? Is it youngish caddy? Is it these large Rivener boys? Is it a mix of them all? Is it...
There's a mix. The Riverrunners are next to the crash site. Some of the older Ishketi are up the platforms cheering, or some of the younger ones are holding their heads in pain almost.
In pain.
Yeah, in fact, you've got a small headache as well, Kuzon, but it's not exactly a intense pain. It's like a small dullness.
Huh.
You actually do get a report from Raze on that. They are feeling the same thing as well. No, theirs are actually headaches. Razon's is not as bad as the others.
What is going on?
Let's hope that guy's alive. We've got some questions for him.
If I bring up my radiation scanner, because I have my anti-radiation stuff in this septic suit right now. Do I detect anything? Like, is it
You
intensifying?
You feel like the radiation did spike a bit. According to your suit, it did spike slightly during that conflict, but it seems to have calmed down again.
Are there weapons like radiation, radioactive?
Not from the scan you're doing of some of the points of impact you're going past, or even the ship that you're going up to.
Yeah.
They just seem to be laser-based.
Weird. Okay.
And as you go up to them,
I'll check them out.
as you pull the guy out, you can see that he has like the same sort of white marks, tattoos, and all across his body as well, as he's like laying in the cockpit, basically barely alive. He's like, ugh, ugh.
I'm gonna reach inside the cockpit and nonchalantly yank him out of the rubble and just toss him at everybody's feet.
You grab him onto like the back of the neck and literally tear him out of the seat. The seatbelts are like nothing compared to your flipping like claw-like strength, and they just rip off his body as he's tossed to the ground. The gun that he was holding gets tossed to the ground as well. He's like, ugh. He's like, oh, you can see bruises started forming on his body as he's laying there.
Go ahead, Kuzon.
I'm gonna park the car and step out and who the hell are you?
I'm part of a White Claw.
I'm just gonna like look at one of the Riveters nearby. It's like, White Claw, does that mean anything?
Attacking us. While now.
I'm gonna point my gun at this guy and it's like, why are you harassing us?
Boss wants something. You're holding out. That's what he said anyway.
Can I inspect like this vehicle that he was driving around in?
Engineering?
Yeah, I want us to just figure out how it works.
It seems to be a scrap motorcycle, if like sort of deal. It's basically a flying cycle, but tricked out with guns and basic armor and the like. It wasn't that tough.
Yeah, probably couldn't take the police cruiser in a head-on collision.
No, it couldn't even take Aiden's full damage from his rifle. It's basically bricked unless you wanted to repair it somehow. It'll probably cost you a bit.
Yeah, I'm is this guy like covered, like is he a human?
Yes, he's a human.
And like all of he looks all blistered and stuff.
Yeah, he's got like he's almost got reddish skin from the heat, but he's got like white tattoos that have been marked into him, almost as if these places were marked over while he was sunburned.
I'm going to kneel down and like while this guy's on the ground, like I'm gonna make eye contact with him, and it's like I don't want to see you here harassing these people anymore. They're just simple-ish Ketty trying to live out their lives.
Not my choice. The boss wants what's in the sacred cave. If he doesn't get it, well, not like it matters. At least I think he's got the location now.
I'm gonna look up. It's like you'll have. It's like I want to help, but you have to tell me what this is.
The elderly Ishkari comes up. the scales grey still, and he's got greying eyes as he looks down to the youngish, basically what's a bandit at this point. And he looks back towards you. It's like, then I shall tell you. I was hoping to keep you away from all this.
Well, if my kids are going to be living here, I can't let raiders be running around.
I understand. Well then, I shall say the adrenaline. It's a creature. It helps us, guides us, but it is the last of its kind. This is what they are after. It would not only be worth a fortune, but many Xkedi would probably pay for the privilege of eating its fruit. Without the charge of looking after it.
And White Claw, is he a big gang? Does he own a lot of the wastes?
I do not know. Aiden, if you want to roll,
I'll go ahead and roll.
you can also roll culture Kuzon, given your knowledge.
Me big brain.
I mean, I kinda assumed when we started talking about this fruit
wow.
that this kind of stuff is probably worth a lot of money. So I doubt these are just random raiders.
They're not that big, actually. Apparently, according to the old man, he mentioned that the fact that it's a creature and the fact that there's fruit is meant to be a secret. Hence why when people move here, they're either not asked to leave or magic's used on them to make them forget that specific part if they're going to leave. And that's something they have to agree on when they arrive.
Well, that's a problem. Kuzon,
But
even if we deal with these raiders, chances are they might sell this information to other people.
Yeah, this place would get wiped out. All right.
can hold them off, but something happened to the agian. It's in a panic state due to something that the leader of the White Claws did before.
Was he part of your community?
He gives a sad nod at that fact. We helped him before he transformed. But the point is that he does not seem to be as grateful as many others. It is possible he is also keeping it a secret for his own benefit, but as you said, it may not be likely. And he did something to the creature before he left. And you can see him almost giving a small prey to the creature as well, almost as if saying, like, "I'm sorry this happened." That's what you heard anyway, Kuzon in his Keddy.
The raider that's on the ground, you mentioned that he is pretty fucked up. How are his hands? Are his hands working or are they broken?
They seem to be fine. It just seems to be like internal hurting. He's pretty beat up, but he could probably stand if you gave him like, 5 minutes?
Nope. I'm gonna kneel next to him and I'm gonna take out a map of the local area. Now, point to where your camp is.
We don't have a camp.
Where do you resupply?
Wherever we can. We're nomads.
Okay.
That's-
Where
It's
are
Kenny.
Where were you meant to go after this raid?
we were meant to meet up at one of the basins.
In how much time?
10 minutes or so. Probably way gone by now.
And you don't know where the next destination is going to be then?
Only he knows.
Smart?
White Claw, as he calls himself. We used to be known as a gang. They were known as the Blisters. Until he came along and killed the boss.
What a charming name.
I know, but I've always liked it.
Looks like tracking this guy is gonna be a bit more complicated than I thought.
Yeah. If you give me medical aid, I can at least tell you when his next attack will be.
Oh yeah?
Now that's useful information.
Assuming he's telling the truth.
I'll be in a bed, recovering. If I have lied, then again, they could change the time if they know I'm captured. He seems much more educated than your normal everyday bandit.
Kuzon, check him for some kind of transmission devices or any bugs that might be on him. If he's clean, let's give him some medical aid and we'll keep him for now. He might be useful.
Yeah, I'll run a scan over him, just to I'm just basically checking for any outgoing signals or anything on this person.
Mm-hmm. Okay then. So you basically check for any outgoing signals on him, and it doesn't seem to have any. There was a communicator within his cockpit, but that's also busted along with his bike.
You know, in hindsight, I just wanted to down that bike. I think I went a little overboard.
Poor Betsy.
It's Kuzon just kind of shrugs, looking at it. It's I'm surprised this thing even holds together.
Yeah, well, poor Betsy.
Betsy, no.
So can I get that medical aid?
I'm gonna look at the leader, and it's well, what do you say? What do you want to do with him?
The leader gives a small nod, agreeing they would give him medical aid.
All right, it's your lucky day, asshole.
It's not like I shot anybody anyway. I asked to attack the structures.
Weirdly
So why
enough,
did you? Oh, sorry.
weirdly enough, he does make a good point. From what it seemed from their previous attack, they weren't aiming to hurt the people. They were more trying to spook them. Probably trying to use that as a bargaining chip to get what they want. So if anything, at least they're not being, well, violent. Sort of.
I was so why did you lie to me about the communication equipment?
Oh, that. The leader says as the bandit guy is being carried off by a Vivina, and he's like, be careful. He's being carried away. Leader goes, because we did not want outsiders involved in our trouble. If you knew of the creatures well, that just means there was more risk of it getting out. Given the greed of White Claw, as he calls himself now, I doubt he has told anyone else but himself what they're really after.
He wants it all for himself.
A few of his men may know, but, well, not the full story.
You mentioned he was part of your community. Do you have information about him? How he looks, his name, where he came from?
Yellow scales, Irish, and somewhere in Al. That's all we know. We don't ask much information on those who join our community. We wish to help those. The creature wishes to help those that need it.
Well, he's nicer to these guys than I would have been.
Thiveron exits. It looks like he's been very hard at work in his magic workshop. And I assume you guys were just kind of like patching him into all the events that were going on.
You could do it that way, basically.
Yeah. That way we don't have to roleplay half an hour discussion.
Yeah, that's fine.
By the way, since you're leaving early, does that mean no games tonight?
Oh no, I'll be able to play tonight. It's just I have to go help my parents move at noon.
So gaming session later, nerds.
That should only take like 2 or 3 hours because I just have to. I'm just helping them move the heavy stuff.
Okay, cool.
So they can move the little stuff themselves.
So yes, essentially you come out and you see the downed, basically flyer speeder bike on the ground. You can see bits and pieces everywhere. The thing's completely shot to death. You can just see a massive hole where clearly an anti-tank round got put into it.
Well, I don't see anything.
Oh, well, you sense it.
No,
You smell the smoke.
Oh, blind doggo jokes, they never get old.
So I kind of wanted to just like not see it and just come out of the ship and be walking toward everybody like, hey, I'm still here, and then fall into the hole.
By the way, this is a good opportunity if we've got 10 minutes or so to spare in between, because I'm assuming it's gonna take a while for the next raid. Aiden's gonna take a short break because I did get hit last time, and I'm role-playing that this is where his equipment showed up. So now he's equipping proper armor over his usual suits, and it's got a custom zero risk security logo on it.
Yeah, you have like literally like a delivery pod just flies from the sky, just and
Nice.
doors come off.
I equipped some tactical gloves, a nice little Kevlar on top of it, some side pockets for knives and grenades, all the good shit.
Of course, that's just the excuse to facilitate the fact that you basically bought them before. So
I am going to radio Esna.
right. As you have repaired the communications equipment that the raiders broke before, and once you have Esna on call, you essentially hear what sounds like she's in a cockpit, essentially, like her voice is a bit muffled by the mask. So this is Colonel Esna.
Hey, it's Kuzon.
What's happening?
I found the kids.
Ah, good. They're safe.
Well, that's the nature of why I called. The kids are safe now, but shortly after we arrived, the village that's been taking care of them, they got attacked.
They got attacked. What's
Raiders shown up on improvised flying machines and started shooting up the place.
Do you like explain the whole situation to her then? Like for the raiders, for
I'm not gonna explain the thing that they asked me to keep a secret, but I'll explain basically everything else. And but I'll tell her that the people here seem to be good, and they basically they've been defending our kids as if they were their own, but I think that these guys will need some equipment in order to defend themselves because the raiders seem very crafty.
Okay, I can send down basic weaponry. I'll be airdropping it in soon.
Thank you. I think we're gonna have to have a talk about this. It seems like the kids seems like they're taking to this place.
Well, we'll talk about it later. Before, after, people's lives are not in danger, Kuzon.
Yeah.
And you can hear she straight to work, very to the book. She turns off comms. You can probably tell she's on her way.
And in the distance you hear the sound of whoosh. That's a whip if in case you don't know.
So, now I got to ask you, while you're preparing all this, what is your plans exactly? You are currently in what's essentially a crag or a small valley with mountains on either side.
They're not after Kuzon's kids per se. What is the name of the thing that they're defending here?
Yes. One moment, because it's pronounced
Rathelion.
There you go. Thank you.
Is that a creature?
That is a creature that you have not heard of before.
How many resolve points for that ability you gave me would it take?
You would actually have to get to the creature in order to copy such a thing. You see, they know where it is. They ain't told you yet, but essentially this creature is what you're defending, since these people essentially want its gifts to stop the rut to, set it on. Basically exploit it.
There's another option that nobody ever considers in these types of situations. What if we just give the raiders what they want? They'd fuck off.
Because we need that to help Kuzon's family. Not
That's against the quest. You call yourself an adventurer?
No, that doesn't work.
Okay, so never mind. He will just copy Kuzon's son.
You can see he's like pointing at his double guy and go, ha! So how does it look when you create it?
So Thiveron puts on his useless goggles again, that he often does, and he gathers a bunch of rocks together, and you see like his orange laser beams come shooting out of his eyes, and he starts muttering a prayer in a language none of you know. And then eventually the rocks begin to turn to flesh, and they begin to slowly take the uncannily resemblance to Raison. And eventually the rocks are in the form of Raison and appear to be made of flesh. And this Raison jumps up, and Thiveron turns around and says, "Somebody give him a weapon." So Thiveron tells it that it's going to take a false ambush position, and when the raiders get here, it's going to be the first one to pop up and begin shooting.
Right then. So essentially, as you're looking out into this desert landscape just beyond the crag, you can see dust being kicked off of the ground as speeder bikes and trucks are coming towards the area, slowly making their way closer and closer towards the crag. Are you going to wait until at the entrance before doing anything?
I'd say they probably expect us to be ready anyway. While everybody else is hiding, as soon as they're within sniper range, I'm going to start taking pot shots at the first guys speeding.
Alright, make an attack as they're making their way forwards into the mouth.
Blam!
That hits.
Just like last time, I'm aiming basically for the weak spot of the vehicles. I'm trying to ground them since they're a long way off. If they want to run on foot towards us, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, these beings have points to their health. This is a nice little unique thing. Essentially, you're decreasing their numbers as you activate your traps and your attacks. So, you activated there. They are coming out of a mouth. If anybody wants to activate anything as they're coming in, you can, of course. As the speeder bikes are starting to move in ahead of the rest of the group, starting to open fire with their laser cannons.
Yeah, sound of traps, maybe.
I'm basically staying, like, I'm keeping the engines on low, and I'm staying low in the cruiser until they like start moving above me, and I'm basically trying to catch them from surprise from below.
I'm
gonna wait until they are very close, and then I'm going to cast Fog Cloud to cut them off from the rest that they've sped ahead of.
Right then. So, essentially, as the speeder bikes all rushing in, you can just see that as they're coming in, the thin wire that you put across the canopy, you can just see one of them get flipped off the bike, another practically losing his head as it digs into his throat and causes him to slump back, his speeder bike slamming into the ground, the third wire catching onto the engine of the other speeder bike, causing it to flip again and land. Of course, the other speeder bikes are still going forward, but they're pretty more careful about where they're flying at this point, making sure to try flying in a more single file like area. But as they get on ahead, the rest of the group is opening fire from their trucks. This fog cloud suddenly starts appearing across the crag, blocking their view of the village. And you just see their fire shots just flinging out in random directions. The speeder bikes are now cut off from the rest of their group. Kuzon, did you want to do your thing?
I want to drive at them, and I have the auto disabler to start zapping their vehicles and frying the controls.
All right then. So, make me piloting for that. Okay. So as you swing out of the crag and start opening fire on the speeder bikes, you take one down after the other as they're all nicely in a line for you. You're able to come out through the fog as well, just completely ambushing them as one after the other falls. After having a clear target to fire at apart from the village, they've turned around and are attempting to attack you. As the rest of the trucks start coming through the fog wall, you can see the ethereal raisons, so they peer out from a rock and start opening fire with the basic laser rifle. Just shots are just coming towards it as it doesn't seem to care about getting hit or anything. The other people of the village are also opening fire on the area.
To catch them even more off guard, Prava's gonna get like his rock droppers to drop the rocks from right above the fake raison. Cause like, why would they drop something on their own guys?
Okay then, if you want to do that. Then, as you can see, some of the village people are getting like small wounds and stuff as the bandits are starting to open fire more specifically at them.
Prava, have the people retreat to where we've set up the traps. Make them lure them in.
And as they're going past, you can see the rocks just tumble down from above, basically causing a small landslide on both the fake raison and onto the convoy, killing quite a few of them. As you mentioned, we're not expecting full rocks to be falling from that direction. They were like, clearly if we get close to a wall, then it'll be harder for them to hit us and stuff like that. Nope. You can hear raison like next to you going, that was brutal.
Jesus, Joe!
It's like this 9-year-old kid is like, holy shit.
I have nightmares about that one.
Thiveron's gonna say back to him, like your father said, don't take after this.
No, I don't think I'll get caught in a landslide, to be honest. And now they're starting to move up, and they're starting to focus fire back on the village. There's many less trucks at this point, actually, given how much open fire there's been. The speeder bikes are still chasing after you, Kuzon. At this point, the village is now being able to open fire on them as well with their weaponry.
If they're starting to whiz through the houses and the corridors, I want the wire traps to go off.
Wire traps?
Yeah, the explosive traps I set up.
Did you want to activate all at once for smoke as well? Or did you want to wait until they're very close to a village? Like, basically inside?
I wanted to wait until they were inside to set off those smoke grenades.
Alright.
Yeah, in that case,
So,
just
if you're activating those...
traps.
Yeah, if they're activating the explosive traps, essentially you see like explosions going off in some directions. The chaos it creates, some of them are taking opportunities to open fire. They don't have any heavy weaponry for the trucks, however, but their numbers are dwindling. And at this point, they're
Actually,
in the village
I do
proper.
have something for the heavy trucks. You remember those special bullets I got from Fraxus?
Ah, did you want to use one of those now?
Yeah, I wanna take a shot at one of the drivers that's in the front truck, so he can basically, if I take him out, he'll stow the entire convoy.
Alright, so essentially, as the round fires off, and it not only pierces the driver, but it basically goes straight into the vehicle as well. You see it crumple a little bit as the round is designed to punch through hardened material. Just poof. it slows to a stop before finally, as they're in the village, as you said, Thiveron, do you activate for smoke?
Yeah, they're inside the village now. I activate the smoke grenades.
As they're getting into the village, the smoke activates. Moment.
And then I draw my spear.
Are the bikes still chasing Kuzon?
Yes, yes, they are. They're basically flying about the village with Kuzon at the moment. They're all fighting each other, going off against each other.
Yeah.
You can roll diplomacy, Prava, if you want to direct the people as well.
I'm trying to think, because I do have this thing actually has a really good autopilot. I assume I can't make it do maneuvers and stuff on my behalf, but I can at least, like, if I pick a path, I can just tell it to ride along it.
Yeah, it will. It will go across the thing, but it won't endanger any civilians or you.
Yeah.
But as you're flying about, essentially, this is what's happening on the ground that you can see as you're probably putting on the autopilot. You can see Prava basically commanding almost like a firing line of Ishkeri, putting down their rifles and just firing almost a laser show into the smoke. Just boom, 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 boom. The bandits are panicking, firing up everything until suddenly this large, intimidating dog like being comes out with smoke with a spear.
Alright, can I actually use my improved intimidation to roll an intimidation here?
You can if you want.
Yep.
Essentially, you're like almost this basically war god walking through the thing right now.
And then I trip.
Well, I would say, just so thematically, essentially, they're way too panicked. They're already intimidated, but they're more on fight than rather than flight.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, fuck, fire. And you're like rushing in, spear swinging left and right, knocking people to the side. Currently, this battle is all going on, and you see Verenas jump into the fray as well at this point, basically chopping into the smoke, taking out some bandits. Some junk power armored bandits step up, slamming their bodies against Ravenas. This small skirmish in the village is all going off, but some of you notice, as like Aiden, you're looking for your scope, opening fire from anybody you can see, like who escaped the smoke and stuff. And Prava, you're right next to them. You see Sunnyvish Kitty like holding their heads and go, ugh! Like they're almost kneeling down, like in pain. Kuzon, even you're starting to feel it as you're probably on your car opening fire from it. You feel a slight headache, like starting to emanate.
I'm going to. So wait, I just want to make sure that I didn't forget. Was this something that the like the creature is doing, or is this something that did we know what was causing it?
Yes, it's something that the creature's doing. It's something to do with the fear, and it seems to affect those that have been here longer than others. Like you can see, the Ravenas are having a bit of trouble fighting at this point. They're powering through, but they are hurting bad.
Okay.
You see the elderly Ishkeri that was with you before, basically on one of these towers, like holding his head, supporting himself against the pillar, like.
I'm going to hop onto the onboard computer that I recently installed into my cruiser, and I'm just gonna do a sweep for signals that aren't, because now I think Kuzon's like afraid that somebody's trying to sneak in or something like that. I'm gonna run like a scan just to see if I can, because like I've seen enough of these guys' communication boards. I'm basically doing a sweep for any that are like masked, or any that aren't just in our regular line of fire while the car's autopiloting around and trying to be a distraction.
If you're going to be doing a scan, essentially as you're scanning, you can tell that this is not the only group of bandits that are around. Some of them are heading off into a totally different direction. And even Prava, to you, the old man's like gripping your robe. It's like, they're going towards the said cave. You gotta stop them. We can hold off here.
I'll quickly spin the car around and go to pick everybody up.